Actually, maybe we'll leave that for...
Yeah.
Well, we're going to do another one.
Welcome to Know Your Rights, a collaboration of many student groups. I wanted to thank you all for being here on your, I'm sure, busy nights. My name is Brett Shannon, and I'm a third-year law student. And I'm here on behalf of the ACLU of Montana and the ACLU School of Law Student Chapter. Before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge some individuals whom without this event would not have happened.
Brett, they can't hear you.
Really?
It's on too low.
Okay. Thank you. Is this better? Okay, sorry. I'll just repeat. My name is Brett Shannon, and I'm a third-year law student. And I'm here on behalf of the ACLU of Montana and the ACLU School of Law Student Chapter. Before we get started, I'm going to introduce a few individuals whom without this event would not have happened. They are ASUM Vice President Tara Ness, ASUM Senator Pete Tolton, and Citizens for Responsible Crime Policy Field Director Angela Goodhope. So if those individuals could please stand. Good. Without the combined efforts of many groups, we would not be here, and here's the list. ACLU of Montana, ACLU School of Law Chapter, Associate Students of the University of Montana, Citizens for Responsible Crime Policy, Students for Sensible Drug Policy, Students for Peace and Justice, Students for Economic and Social Justice, and College Republicans. Each one of these groups either helped with organizing the event or provided the resources outside. Before I introduce the panelists, I'd like to speak for a moment about how a great and rare opportunity we have today. The wealth and breadth of knowledge and experience sitting at the front of the room is astounding. Without making anybody feel too old, combined, these individuals have well over 100 years of experience in criminal and constitutional law. It's not often that such experts gather for such events, and I encourage each and every one of you to take full advantage by asking questions. Without your questions and prompts, these experts cannot impart their knowledge upon us. Finally, as you noticed when you came in, there's a large amount of print resources available outside. Nearly all of it is free, and there's additional copies available. I encourage you either on your way in if you haven't, or as you leave, to peruse those and take what you need. Two things I would like to point out specifically are some pocket constitutions donated by the College Republicans. It's always good to have a constitution on you. And the second are the ASUM and Office of Public Safety collaborated to make a Know Your Rights fold-out card. These just got done today, and they have some fantastic information. So, if nothing else, take a constitution and a Know Your Rights card. Okay, the first panelist I'm going to introduce is at my far right. It's Betsy Griffin. I have the distinct pleasure of working with Betsy outside of law school through the ACLU of Montana. Betsy has been practicing law for over 25 years. For 9 of those years, she was the chief of the Appellate Bureau in the Attorney General's office, handling criminal appeals in the Montana Supreme Court, and also supervising all death penalty cases. During her time, she acted as lead counsel and attorney Mark Roscoe in a case in front of the United States Supreme Court, and as team lead on another case under Attorney General Joe Missoula that also reached the U.S. Supreme Court. She is currently the legal director of the Montana ACLU, and with her practice focusing on constitutional and criminal rights, civil rights litigation. Betsy is also an adjunct professor at the University of Montana School of Law, where she teaches Montana constitutional law. Next to her is Professor Andrew King-Ries. As anyone who's ever had Professor King-Ries in class would tell you, he's an exceptional individual and teacher. Professor King-Ries graduated from Brown University in 1998 with a degree in history. He then received his law degree from Washington University, St. Louis, where he was an editor of the Washington University Law Quarterly. He currently teaches criminal procedure, criminal law, domestic violence, juvenile justice, and white-collar crime. In the past, he has also taught constitutional law and also taught in the clinical program. Before teaching, he was a speechwriter for the United States Secretary of Education, a clerk for the United States Court of Appeals for the 8th Circuit, and for 8 years, a prosecutor specializing in domestic violence cases for the King County Prosecutor's Office in Seattle, Washington. Professor King-Ries is married, has a son, and a dog. Next, we have Professor Josh Van de Wetering. Professor Van de Wetering is another excellent individual who goes out of his way to present issues from both sides. It's true. Professor Van de Wetering got his degree in philosophy from the University of Colorado. Following graduation from law school in 1993, also from the University of Colorado, he became a deputy county attorney in Cascade County, Montana. In 1994, he moved to the county attorney's office in Yellowstone County. In 1996, he became a deputy county attorney in Missoula County, and in 1998, he moved to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Missoula and has been there since. He's responsible for prosecuting narcotics trafficking organizations' operations in and through western Montana, and he also handles a smattering of other cases, including election fraud, immigration, reservation crimes, firearms, among others. He is currently an adjunct professor of law and teaches advanced criminal procedure at the law school. He has 2 children. Next to him is Craig Shannon Esquire. Everyone working in criminal law in Missoula knows the name Craig Shannon. In fact, the name has become synonymous with excellent criminal defense. Mr. Shannon graduated with honors from Michigan State University with a Bachelor of Science in Math in 1982. In 1990, he graduated from the University of Montana School of Law with honors. Following graduation, he was a clerk for the Montana Supreme Court, Justice John Harrison, clerk for the Montana State District Court, Judge John Henson, and Missoula Public Defender, finally making a private practice focusing exclusively in criminal law. He is an artist and a baker and is the father of 3 little girls who know and assert their rights daily. Finally, on the end, closest to me, is Mr. James Lemcke. As Chief and Director of Public Safety for the University of Montana, Jim Lemcke trains and supervises police officers at the university. Jim has been a cop for about 27 years, joining the UM force in 2000 after retiring from the Missoula Police City Department. Jim has received a wide range of specialized training, including hostage negotiations at Northwestern University, death investigation at St. Louis School of Medicine, and drug investigations from the DEA. He is a graduate of the FBI National Academy and is an instructor in several subjects. Okay, now I'm going to hand it over to the panelists who are going to speak for 3 to 5 minutes, however long they want to, about why they're here and the issues that they bring to the table. So with that, we're just going to start at the end with Betsy.
Thank you, Brett. Whoa. Hey, mine's on. Yeah. Good. Well, thank you, Brett, and the ACLU Law School chapter and all the other sponsors. I'm with the Montana ACLU. I'm currently their legal director, which is very nice. I have the best job in the whole wide world. Every day I get to practice constitutional law and civil rights litigation. It's really amazing to go through law school and have a legal career. At one time I did exclusively bankruptcies, so I really know exactly what a pleasure it is to be doing constitutional law. You heard in the introduction that in the past I supervised the death penalty cases in Montana, and that's true. For about 9 years, as head of the appellate bureau at the AG's office, one of my duties was also to supervise the death penalty cases in the state. And I successfully led the team that led to the execution of Duncan McKenzie in the mid-90s, mid to late 90s. And I actually left the AG's office within 6 months of that. I got so caught up in kind of the competition of the litigation that I really couldn't see beyond the results of what we were doing. And after we were successful, I realized what we had done. I'm not apologizing for the Duncan McKenzie in any way, but I was frankly grossed out by the death penalty. And now it's my great pleasure working for the Montana ACLU. The man that I prosecuted for 9 years unsuccessfully got the death penalty imposed twice. I now get a chance maybe to try to get rid of the death penalty in Montana. I think it's a system that doesn't work. So anyway, that said, that's kind of why, one of the reasons I'm here.